Hey, Hickok 45 here. Today we're setting our sights on a basics issue that I think hopefully will be helpful because I know it's confusing to a lot of people. And it's the issue of sight adjusting, sight alignment, and all that sort of thing. We're not going to get too complicated. We're going to focus primarily on how to adjust your sights to get them hitting where you want, get them looking where you want the sights to look, so you can take the sight picture you want and all that sort of thing. Well, first of all, let me clarify, because I know you hear me say in videos quite often that I'm trying to figure out where to hold, with this ammo or this gun, a new gun, different gun. And I'm figuring out, I may be shooting low, and so then I adjust, and then I kind of range in on them and I start hitting the targets. Be advised, know that I'm actually looking at the sights the same way all the time. Okay, with one exception when I'm shooting at 230 yards, which is crazy, bizarre shooting, right? But most shooting, even at 80 yards, even at 70, whatever, and right here close, I'm looking at the sights the same way. I'm taking the same sight picture. I'm seeing them the exact same way every time. So I'm not holding them really differently when I talk about that. All I'm doing is trying to figure out where to hold my sight alignment. So let me talk to you or show you a wonderful piece of artwork I did here just before the video. I was going to do it on the video. John advised I do it before. Probably a good idea because I'm not much of an artist. Okay, this is your sight, and this is what you're looking at. There's your front sight, your post sticking up there, and of course you want ideally a little space between that you're seeing between the front sight and the rear sight. Can everybody kind of see what that is? You got the rear sight, and then that post sticking up. If it were 3D, it's on down on the end of the barrel. That's the front sight, down the end of the barrel, okay? And this is in the back. So you want that level, generally speaking, okay? That's what I do, and I think most people do. I mean, I guess there might be some people that maybe they like it to protrude upward just a hair or something, I don't know, or they realize they need to and they don't want to adjust their sight, so they get used to doing that. I don't know. Most people, you want to level up the front sight, the top of it, with the top edge of the rear sight. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. That's what you should generally be looking at when you look down the sights. Okay, now in this gun you've got that red ball up there where you're seeing, but still the front sight is level. You're filling up the gap. That's all you're doing. You're filling up that groove evenly when you're looking down that sight. All right, and then it's a matter of where you hold it, where you hold that sight picture. That is your sight picture. But where you hold it is another matter, isn't it? Okay, you might have 4 or 5 guns yourself, and you already know this if you do probably. But with one of those guns, if you were shooting at, say, a turkey over there, you might have to hold that sight picture I'm talking about on the bottom of the turkey, and you know that the other gun shoots lower, so you have to hold on the neck of that turkey in order to hit it or something. Okay, but we're generally taking the same sight picture. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. Now, what I wanted to do mainly in this video, I wanted to clarify that because I think some new shooters especially aren't sure what we're talking about when we say where to hold and all that. And we literally mean where to hold that sight picture, but we keep the same sight picture. The other thing's a little bit confusing to people. It's kind of like daylight savings times or something, or moving clocks around. You get your head and brain twisted around. I know it's happened to me with all the shooting I've had, experience I've had. You start, we saw in the video with the XDMs, I adjusted one on the wrong way at first and I wasn't thinking. But what you're doing, the way I think about it, you might think about it differently if you're experienced. You just remember, it's shooting low, you raise your rear sight and you don't have to think about it much. But sometimes I get my head turned around, and so the way I think about it is kind of conceptually. What you want to do is figure out where the gun is shooting, again, taking the sight picture I just talked about. So if I'm holding on whatever, the gong or this paper target, whatever it is, I've got a good hold there. I take several shots. I got my sights aligned perfectly as I just illustrated. I go boom, boom. I put 3 or 4 shots on there, which I'm going to do in a second. Then I see where they hit, okay? That tells me something, but I've got to hold my sights in exactly the same place. Another tip, if you're trying to sight in a gun and you hold right in the middle, you pull the trigger and it shoots over let me hold further to the right, then it shoots to the right or high. So you don't get into that. You take several shots, trying to hold the best sight picture you can, holding very still, really nice trigger break, and you do that several times till you know you got some good shots off, and you know where the bullets are going and in relationship to where the sights are. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is take a few shots, but what you do conceptually is you try to move the sights to where they are pointed to where the bullet's hitting. Does that make sense? If you think about that, let's say I'm holding on that well, the red target there, and I'm holding right in the middle, and the hits are all over on the right edge, that pointy edge over there. Well, they're all in the same place, nice beautiful group. Then I just need to do something to my sights to get them pointed over there. Okay, so I would probably need to move my rear sight to the left, and then my gun would be aimed where those hits were. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. Now I'm not going to do the left-right adjustment today, but hopefully my elevation adjustment will kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I took, this is the 9mm 5.25, and I thought this one's mine, so I'd mess up my own sights. I screwed the sights, the rear sights, all the way down. They're all the way down. So we're going to take a few shots, and then we're going to move the sights just to show you the difference. All right, let's put some ammunition in here. And I'm going to hold on, I've got some paper for this, so it'll be easier for all of us to see. I do this on steel quite often. As you know, you can see your hits usually. And I've got that to illustrate something maybe. Okay, sights are all the way down. I'm shooting 115 grain ammunition here. And let's see what happens. I don't get on the bench very much, but I want to make sure. Sometimes I think I shoot worse when I try to brace one. In fact, I know I do sometimes. But I'm going to try to get, I'm going to hold right on that top dot so I can be somewhere close to it. Now again, if I see that I'm shooting low, I don't care. I'm just going to try to hold on that dot. It doesn't matter where they're going. I will take a few shots with that hold. Hopefully I can shoot bench rest. I never do this. Okay, that tells you it's shooting a little bit low, isn't it? I mean, for ideally, at that distance, I would really not want, it's shooting below point of aim. It's not much, but it's shooting a little bit below point of aim. Now, the gun's empty, I just unloaded it. So, what do I need to do with my sights? As I said before, I need to get my sights aimed at where that's hitting. So that means I need to raise my rear sight. Does that make sense? Let me put this ruler on it. I don't know if this will help illustrate that, kind of exaggerate what I'm talking about. So if you imagine the line of the bullet, I need to change it. So let me lay that on, right on the sights. So if I raise the rear sight, then I'm going to be aimed lower, right? You see my line of sight is going to be lower. I'll do it exaggerated. If I raise the rear sight all the way up there, I'd be aiming down there. But I just need to raise it a little bit so that I'm aiming right where those hits are. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but let's do that. So let's take the screwdriver here, if I can find it. There it is. I'm going to raise this thing. I'm not sure how many turns I could actually raise this rear sight. I've not experimented with it. I'm going to go up 3 full turns. There's 1, 2, 3. At some point they actually come out of there. I lost some Smith & Wesson sights that way one time, or a piece out of there. Okay, so you see I raised that quite a bit. Now if you think about that, now that sight's up higher, my sight picture, if I'm looking, I'm sighting on that same dot, I ought to be actually putting bullets a little higher. Well, let's see. Let's take some shots. Okay. All right, I raised the rear sight, so that should raise the point of impact. We'll see if it does. Because I'm holding the same sight picture on the dot, exactly as before. I'm aiming at the dot, not the holes, nothing else. Wow. Okay. See what that did? That brought the point of impact up. I'm taking the exact same sight picture, and I'm putting that sight picture on the exact same, or at least trying to, the exact same dot. Now let's put it down a little bit. That was up 3 turns. 1, let's go down 2 turns. Might be about right if you're trying to get it hit right on. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so we've got some that are just a little bit low when the sight was all the way down, and then 3 turns up, a little too high probably. Hopefully we can differentiate the hits here. I'll aim exactly the same sight picture. Yeah. Okay, so those are just above the dot a little bit. So you see the impact, no pun intended, the difference that moving the sights around did. Again, if it's shooting low on me, say it's shooting dramatically low, I think it's easier to grasp. If I'm shooting at the tombstone down there and it's hitting in the dirt, man, then I need to have my sights aimed where the bullets are hitting. That sight would have to come way up here. So it I'll be looking down into the dirt with my sights, okay? Now that doesn't mean I'm gonna shoot into the dirt the next time once I remove those sights, does it? Because I'm gonna be focusing on the tombstone. It actually brings the bullets up, all right? So hopefully I didn't just further confuse you. Same again with windage. You know, if I'm shooting, let's exaggerate it, I'm shooting at the tombstone, but it's hitting that tree over there, well then, I need to get the sights aligned with the hole without moving the gun. I need to have my sights pointed over there then, if I'm trying to hit this. So I do that, I move this sight over here, so then, okay, I'm sighted at that tree. Good, then I need to move it all over to where I'm sighted on the tombstone, you know, if that makes any sense. So basically, wherever you're sure the gun's hitting, you're holding it really steady, getting a good sight picture, the same sight picture on the target. Then you look at where the bullets are going, and then you want to keep the same hold on the gun and not move the gun, but get the sights aligned with wherever those holes are. Okay, that's probably a better way to say it. You want to get the sights aligned with where the holes are without moving the gun. Okay, and then it all takes care of itself, because then you'll just automatically move the gun where it will need to be moved, but you won't have to think about it, because all you're doing is aligning the sights. All right, so I don't know, hopefully I didn't confuse you, but that's the way I think about it. And of course I think about things differently sometimes, but it works for me. And because you want your sights on, you want to have a consistent sight picture, because it's hard enough, as we all know, to hit what we're aiming at with a handgun. If you're just starting out, you really know how hard it is. So you don't want to have problems with your sights. Before I would shoot a match, back when I was shooting a lot of matches, if I didn't do anything else, I would just come out here on a little piece of paper or something. I would just really shoot 2 or 3 precision shots to get some confidence in my sights. Okay, they're hitting exactly where they're supposed to. All right. If nothing else, I wanted to know that and be sure of that, because then I know it's me. It's operator error if I'm having trouble hitting, you know, in the match or whatever I'm doing. So anyway, a little information about sight alignment, and I hope that helped. Life is good.